This is the top 5 best class setups in Black Ops 6. So if these class setups do help you out, just leave a comment letting others know that this actually works, and I like to help out with the algorithm. So we're going to start out with the XM4 because I'm pretty sure this is what a lot of people have been coming here for, a perfect XM4 class. So we're going to start out with the Kepler Micro Flex. That's the first thing you're going to put on there. If you don't want that, put on the Merlin Mini. These are good too. Muzzle, you're going to put on the suppressor. For the barrel, what you're going to put on is the reinforced barrel. If you don't have this, if you're a low level, then you can use the gain twist or long barrel until you get the reinforced. The reinforced is basically both of these. So you want to have both of these with the reinforced, but if you don't, like I said, pick one of these. Next, we're going to go with the vertical foregrip. Vertical foregrip is overall just, in my opinion, the best choice. Precision is pretty nice if you want some aiming elsewhere, but I think the vertical foregrip is just the best choice overall. Next, for the extended mag, you can either go 45 for no cons or extended mag 2 for slightly a bit of cons. I go with extended mag 2, but if you're playing a bit more tryhards, I would say just stick to extended mag 1 or just no mag in general, but we're going to go with that. For the rear grip, what we're going to do is we're going to either go commando or quick draw grip. It depends on how your play style is. If you're somebody who sits back a little bit, quick draw grip might actually be a little bit of an option. Commando is if you're going to be moving around a little bit, you need to have that sprint to fire ready. So we're going to put on gunfighter just because I want to give you guys the gunfighter attachments first and then the ones without the gunfighter. So one thing I really like to put on is combat stock, just because when people are actually facing you that are good and not just bots like you see all the time, what'll end up happening is you're going to get a ton of flinch. So combat stock basically negates that. And then the last thing you can put on there is kind of up to you whether you want to put on overpressure or recoil springs. If you put on recoil springs, this basically has absolutely no recoil. So when we go into the firing range, you'll see how powerful this thing is. It just really takes no effort to actually use this weapon. It's actually fantastic basically at every single range. But if you can't use this, if you don't have gunfighter yet, we're going to start all over, but it's really going to be simple. All you're going to do is put on the Merlin Mini. Next, you're going to put on the suppressor. Next, you're going to put on the reinforced long barrel. Underbarrel is optional, but I would suggest putting that on there. And then for the magazine, just put extended mag 1. That'll be the first thing you do. Next, for the C9, this thing is an amazing SMG, and honestly, I think it's a pretty easy build to make. So what we're going to do is we're not going to use an optic because it's not necessary, but we're going to start out with a muzzle. We're going to go with suppressor. Next, we're going to once again go with the reinforced barrel because this thing is absolutely beautiful. I mean, please don't go without it. Once again, if you don't have it, just go with long barrel or gain twist until you get it. I don't really see a reason to put on the CHF barrel. I mean, I've been trying it out, and I just don't see a difference between just using the regular barrels and then using this for headshot multiplier, but I could be wrong. I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't see a difference. For this, you can actually use Ranger foregrip if you want to, just to have it be a faster movement build, but if you just want as much accuracy as possible, then go with the vertical foregrip. That's what I usually do. Magazine, I think that extended mag 1 is more than enough. I don't think you need extended mag 2. I think that's just a little bit extra, but extended mag 1 is just an optimal choice. Commando grip, once again, unless you're somebody that just wants to have sprint to fire speed. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just want commando grip to have both of them, but completely up to you, whichever one you want. For the stock, this one is going to be interesting as well. I see a lot of people going no stock for the movement speed. When they play really good people, they kind of get smacked. So once again, combat stock is a fantastic choice, but if you want like a decent balance, you don't really care about the flinch resistance, then you can use balance or no stock. But I really like using combat stock, especially when I'm playing good players. Do not use rapid fire. I know it's gonna be very tempting to use rapid fire. It's just not worth it. Just go with recoil springs, and this will be the best build right here. Now you're probably wondering, well, what if I don't have gunfighter? Let me just show you how this works in the firing range real quick, and then we'll fix that. So as you guys see, this thing is actually pretty nice. It doesn't take much effort, but if you don't have gunfighter, just going to start all over, go with the suppressor. Next, you're going to go with the reinforced barrel. Next, you're going to go vertical foregrip. Magazine, you're going to go there. And then from here, it's completely your choice, whichever one you choose. Whether you go sprint to fire or you go with combat stock. It's not really absolutely necessary to have the recoil springs. It's just like an added on bonus. But I think, in my opinion, I would just go with the commando grip if you wanted to actually have something else. I think this would be the most optimal choice for 5 attachments. The Jackal PDW is one of the best SMGs in the game, honestly. It has the range of an AR, but the speed of an SMG. So you don't need an optic. For the muzzle, you can just throw on a suppressor. For the barrel, you can throw any of these on, but I really, like I said, highly suggest the reinforced barrel. It just works so much better overall. For this, I would still suggest the vertical foregrip. I wouldn't really suggest anything else, but if you want to use Ranger, then be my guest. I just choose vertical foregrip. Magazine, you can use extended mag 1. I don't think you need extended mag 2. If you do use it, completely your choice, but I think extended mag 1 is more than enough. Once again, commando grip is what we're going to put on there for the stock. This one is kind of up in the air. It's depending on the play style. If you're playing really good players, I would suggest combat stock. If you're not playing so good of players, then balanced stock will be completely fine. Like I said, you really have to weigh your pros and cons. I don't think that no stock is the best choice, especially when balanced stock is kind of just better than no stock in this situation. So for this, we'll put on balanced stock. You don't need a laser, and for fire mods, I would suggest going recoil springs. Just to show you how good this is. Here we go. Get in the firing range, and this thing is absolutely fantastic. Gets the job done so easily. But once again, if you don't have all this stuff, if you don't have a gunfighter, you just go suppressor. For the barrel, you go reinforced barrel. For the underbarrel, you go vertical foregrip. For the magazine, you go extended mag. And then from here, it's completely your choice, whatever you want to do. But I would suggest just going commando grip and having that be your 5 right there. The Model L is actually one of the strongest ARs in the game right now, and I have a fantastic build for you, especially no recoil. But we're going to start out with the base one I want to show you. So what you're going to do is put on the Merlin Mini. Next, for the suppressor, you're going to put on, well, for the muzzle, you're going to put on suppressor. Next, you're going to put on the reinforced barrel or the long barrel. Completely your choice, but I think that the reinforced barrel is going to be the better option. And you'll see why in a little bit. But next, you're going to put on the vertical grip, foregrip, because this is just the best choice overall. For the magazine, you put on extended mag 1. For the rear grip, I would actually go quick draw grip, but commando grip is actually pretty nice if you're trying to move around with this like a whole lot. I think quick draw grip is just actually better in my opinion for this situation, but whichever one you want, I choose quick draw grip. For the stock, I would suggest combat stock, but whatever you want to use, completely up to you. This is what I'm just going to use. And then in my opinion, at this point, I would suggest either recoil springs. If you're feeling rapid fire, feel free to use rapid fire. I just, that's not really the one that I'm typically going with, but I'll just show you anyway. If we go rapid fire, it's actually not bad at all. So I don't want you guys to feel worried like it's going to do terrible or anything like that. It is powerful, but I do want to show you guys something even better. So if you take off suppressor and you go to compensator, this thing becomes an absolute laser. So if you go with the rapid fire version and the compensator, this thing, it just literally does not take any effort to actually use. Now, if you want to take it a step further, you want to take off rapid fire and put on recoil springs, then this thing becomes one of the ultimate weapons in the game. So if you're playing really good players that know how to shoot their gun, then this build right here would be absolutely insane. But if you don't have a gunfighter, you guys already know, Merlin Mini, suppressor or compensator, whichever one you want. For the barrel, reinforced barrel or long barrel, just keep that in mind. Under barrel, vertical foregrip, and then for the magazine, you're going to go that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that'll be it for the Model L. Finally, the AS Val is the strongest gun in the game, so if you guys have gotten this far, you're about to get the best class setup overall in the game. This AR is phenomenal. It's better than all the best SMGs and everything, so I don't really think it needs an optic, but I'll give you an optic version first just because some people may want an optic. So you put on the Merlin Mini for the barrel. Please level this up to get the suppressed reinforced barrel because it's literally these two combined, so you want to put that on there. For the underbarrel, vertical foregrip. For the magazine, you can actually use any of these magazines. I didn't really notice a significant difference, so just for the sake of this class setup, we'll go extended mag 3. You can do commando grip just because I feel like you'll be moving around a lot with this weapon. For the stock, you can go combat stock just because I feel like with this weapon you're going to be in a lot of engagements and you got to make sure you're protected from the flinch. And for the fire mods, I would suggest recoil springs. Do not make this any faster. It's already fast enough. And then when you go into the firing range, this thing is just absolutely ridiculous. It's such a powerful weapon. I mean, it does have considerable range too. Like if you go long range, it will melt super fast. But if you do not have gunfighter, take all this off. You don't need a barrel. I mean, not a barrel. You don't need an optic. You can start with the suppressed reinforced barrel. For the underbarrel, put you on vertical foregrip. Then you can put on, like I said, any of these once again. For this, you're going to put on the commando grip. And then what I would suggest is the recoil springs. And this will make it the absolute best build you can possibly make it for 5 attachments. The reason, like I said, I really genuinely don't think that this needs an optic just because the iron sight is just really nice.